What?
My bad.
What
I was trying to find my Florida woman story because I wanted to say goodnight to her, and then I couldn't remember all the things, so I Googled Miami stripper, and I was like, oh, don't do that. Because that's how the headline starts, and I'm like, oh, that's a bad idea.
Hey, we're back. This is John.
Hey, it's Paul.
And it's Eric.
That's What If Geeks. And today is May 21st. All my days are running together again. But We are here to do another Geekly Weekly. We're going to cover the hashtag release of Snyder Cut. I really didn't think that was ever going to become a thing again, but it is. So when you think it's dead, it's back. New film announced with Peter Dinklage and Jason Momoa, titled Good, Bad, and Undead. I can't wait to talk about that. And then HBO Max releases a list of all movies available on the May 27 launch. And it's 590 titles, so we're going to get all into this shit. All right, so I guess we start off with the one thing I didn't prepare for, and that's Florida Man. Eric, you want to kick it off?
Yeah, I'll go first since Paul's
wants to surprise
going
us.
to dominate me here.
That'll be used out of context later.
I hope this is recent. I think it is. But go ahead.
All right, so mine is Florida man arrested for hosting cockfighting event that included a large amount of cocaine with children present. 14 people were arrested at a gambling and cockfighting function in Central Florida, according to the Polk County Sheriff's Office. They were all charged with attending the fighting of animals, illegal gambling, and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. This was at a mobile home, believe it or not, because where else would you have a cockfight but outside of a mobile home? I mean, that makes the most sense to me.
It makes sense.
So the police showed up, and the guys are actually sitting outside at a table gambling on the cockfights. They're like not even trying to hide it. But so there's bags of cocaine on the table, and then right next to them is a 10-year-old kid.
That kid's seen some stuff.
That kid has seen some stuff for sure. I'm sure that was not his first cockfight.
Hey, look, Florida man needs a sidekick.
That's right.
Florida man's boy wonder.
Well, you can't have Florida man. You got to replace the Florida man because they die off rather quickly with their stupidity. So
that's right.
Right. All right, Paul, take it away. Right. I tried to hurry up and find one.
This has to be sort of pre-pandemic because of the story. It sort of matches with Eric's. I'm going to share my screen because I love everything about this story. Miami stripper arrested for squirting vaginal fluids at police officers in self-defense.
Alrighty.
A Florida lap dancer has been arrested in Miami after assaulting 5 police officers with her vagina and using it as a deadly weapon without the intent to kill. Brittany Simmons, 24, was performing at the Camel Toe strip club when an altercation began between Simmons and several clients in the club. Miami police were called to intervene and attempted to apprehend Simmons, who was highly intoxicated, of course. 5 Miami police officers attempted to place Simmons under arrest, but were momentarily indisposed when the lap dancer ejected vaginal fluid towards the officers, temporarily blinding 3 and injuring 2. Here's the quote. And I really hope I'm not being fooled by the internet on all this.
Was she a fucking mutant?
She just spread her legs wide open and started squirting in the cops' faces, eyes, and mouths from a distance of about 12 to 15 feet. One eyewitness told reporters, visibly amused by the whole affair.
Holy shit.
According to current Florida laws, if convicted of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon against 5 police officers, Simmons could face 1,036 years in jail.
Why not just life? Just say life. What the fuck?
Holy shit. Though, like, if you have to get assaulted.
You know what, though? She looks like she might be a mutant.
12 to 15
You're not going to see that on the X-Men.
Pretty impressive. That's a good distance.
Not even in the New Mutants movie.
So I hope this is real. Listen.
I hope it's fake, to be honest with you.
I've seen some wild shit in my day, but not like that.
That took out 5 cops.
What the
Blinded 3 and injured 2. Like, what the fuck?
How do you go in the office? Like, you're in the you're in the squad room the next day. Like, how'd you get hurt? Well,
It was slippery. I fucking slipped on it. I landed on a fucking chair. Hurt my back.
right. Threw my back out.
Why does Johnson need a seeing eye dog?
Right.
Holy shit, that was amazing, Paul. That was, you know what? Usually yours have to do with throwing food, and I guess kind of in a way.
Or sticking food in your pants.
Yeah.
So you still kind of sort of in. Damn.
I'm on brand.
It's pants related.
That's right.
Holy shit.
It's a compliment to Eric's cockfighting story.
Oh shit. Yeah, wow. All right, well that's Florida Man. I definitely don't have anything that's gonna top that. You're right, you win this week. Damn.
Give it to you, Paul.
So ladies and gentlemen, if you want to submit your own Florida Man story, go down to your local camel toe.
Or just do something crazy. Do something crazy and get written about so we can talk about it.
Yeah, there you go. There's one of two ways, right? You can
Yeah.
either find one or be one.
Right.
All right, cool. So, wow. Eric, you have a lot of pausing to edit out of this. Yeah, all right. So, what are you guys into? What have you been up to? What have you been doing? Yeah, I mean, I guess I can go first. I mean, like, we've been doing a lot of running Noah around for football training, right? I told you guys about that. He's been doing training with one of the flag coaches, so doing agility training, and then we found him a tackle team. But that was fun because it was Coach Lee, Paul.
Yep.
He said there's a big boy league. Did I tell you about that one?
Yep.
Yeah. So we bring him out there, and he said now it's going to be a little bit of a different demographic, and we bring him out there, and not only is he the only white kid on this team, we're the only two white people in this park. Which is cool. It's fine. You know, nobody cares. Noah's good. But then last Tuesday, he ran out there, and they were doing a bunch of different drills. And one of them, they broke out tackle dummies and let him hit them. And the first time, like he'd never played tackle. He's always played flag. So he didn't quite get the concept of what they wanted him to do. They wanted him to dive low and knock the dummy down. Noah ran full tilt into this thing, hit it with his shoulder, picked it up, and took it 15 feet. And the coach just went, bring it back.
Right.
He started laughing. He's like, just bring it back. He's like, come here. And they told him what he wanted to do, and Noah went, oh, okay. He got back online and then did it again. I got a clip of that. I showed Eric. It's like about maybe 3 seconds long because of the vantage point I had. But Eric, you saw how fast he was moving when he hit that thing? Yeah. He was like a freight train.
That's awesome.
It was pretty good. So they love him. They're all like, oh, you got a spot. We're going to find you a spot. Like, you're aggressive, and you're a big guy that can move. We like that. So
Cool.
he'll be playing tackle. So, yeah, that's really all we've been doing. And I've been reading, reading comics online. I finished one series I was reading, and now I've found, I think it's from the early 2000s, one of the IDW G.I. Joe runs.
Mm-hmm.
So I just started that over again. I know I read the first few issues of it, but I don't think I've finished it. And there's quite a few in there, so I'm going to read that for a while. We'll see how that goes.
Cool.
That's it. How about you guys?
Let's see. I binge watched the 3 episodes of Disney Gallery The Mandalorian, which is amazing, which we'll talk about in a bit. We rented Scoob the other night. Have you seen that?
I did not watch it, but the family watched it. I got to watch it because they said
That's
it's
the
really
new
good.
animated one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Supposed to come to theaters, came straight to video on demand. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
There's some jokes for grown-ups, and there's they got a lot of Hanna-Barbera Easter egg things throughout the movie. Right, there's like a Jabberjaw sighting and stuff like that. Some Hong Kong.
Yeah. When because I was busy doing something, and Heather literally was like, as I walked through the room while they were watching the movie, she was like, "So and so's in this movie." I was like, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah." So, yeah.
So it's pretty good. Kids really liked it. That's about it.
Cool. How about you, Eric?
Well, I've been playing some video games and recording it for hopefully a YouTube series we'll do later. I did watch Pet Sematary, the reboot.
How'd you like it?
It was all right.
That side-eye didn't.
I didn't love it, but some things I knew were coming. Like, all right, spoiler alert in case you haven't seen it. Okay, I'm probably gonna say something that's gonna spoil it. But when Gabe started to run out to the road, I knew damn well he wasn't getting hit by a truck. Like, I knew immediately, like, that's not what's happening. And then they did, by the end of it, they kind of flipped it around. In the sense that Gabe was the only one that didn't end up as a undead, right? And then they sort of left it as a cliffhanger that way, which I thought was an interesting way to change it. But at the same time, there are some things about it I hated, like when he's making the trek with Jeb out to the burial ground. It looks so fucking fake, like worse than the '80s movie. I swear to God.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm like, wait, no, like I'm pretty sure the original did this a little better, and they didn't even try. Like it just looked like a green screen. It looked like a fake ass background, and they sort of tried to make it all very mystical, and it just didn't work for me.
Yeah, like they kind of overshot the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
agree.
The other thing that annoyed the shit out of me, and I didn't see it in theaters, so maybe this is just me at home, but. The main character, and I forgot the guy's name that plays him, but he's a pseudo-famous actor, but his voice was always way too low, and I kept having to turn it up to hear him, and then next thing you'd know, it'd be like fucking 80 decibel like truck coming down the road. I'm like, oh my God, I got to turn it back down, and then I can't hear him again. I'm like, damn it. I'm like, I feel like there was just a little sound editing you could, maybe it was intentional for the theater, but like, come on.
Yeah, that part sucked because I watched it at home as well. But yeah, it was I enjoyed it, but like you, I think there was parts that they could have really done better. I knew ahead of time, your spoiler alert, but that's because I read an article from the director speaking about why he did it. I think we talked about it here. So, I understood why he did it, and mostly it was from an acting standpoint. But yeah, it was. I liked it. It was good for what it was. It was definitely one of the better Stephen King movies. It's not going to compare to it, but it was good.
That's it. Pretty much.
All right, that's what we're into.
In a movie.
All right. Well, let's get into this shit then.
All right, so we got a few, before we start, we got a few notable anniversaries this week, I think. Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back was released 40 years ago today. You can't go on without talking about that.
Which is actually a good...
It is a good segue into something we're going to do later.
Yeah.
Maybe at the end of this episode, maybe in a separate episode, we'll decide. But we are going to do a fair bit of Star Wars content today. The Pac-Man arcade game, believe it or not, was released on the same day, 40 years ago, which probably is one of the most iconic arcade games you can imagine. And it's been ported onto every platform in existence at this point. And then last but not least, I know John will appreciate this, but The Shining actually had its theatrical release May 23rd, so that'd be a couple days from now, 40 years ago also.
Nice.
Hard to imagine it's been that long.
Right.
All right, so getting into the news, you want to do Snyder Cut first?
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay.
All right, so I think we had talked about this maybe once or twice before. A lot of people... So Snyder, I guess we should start at the beginning, right? So Snyder was originally the director of the Justice League. I think he left. He didn't get let go, right? He voluntarily left, maybe because of
his daughter.
His daughter was killed. That's right. Was that? Yeah. Would she say suicide? Was it suicide?
Yeah, I think she committed suicide.
Oh, okay. In any case, so he left, and then Joss Whedon took over, right, and finished it. And he was actually uncredited. It still had Snyder's name on it.
Yeah.
But it, of course, was pretty well panned by critics and most fans alike. It's not a very good film. And
No,
so
it's kind of a clusterfuck.
yeah, and so there's been a sort of running commentary and a hashtag that's been running around for years now, which is Release the Snyder Cut, which is supposedly Snyder's original cut before anything got knocked out for the theatrical release. And now he has talked about this before in interviews and stuff, and he said, I guess by the time he left, it was something like 4 hours long, right? He knew it was too long for a theatrical release, and somebody else had to cut it down, and whatever happened and whatever. So people have been saying release the Snyder Cut. It's been this big hashtag. It's a lot big following. Nobody actually knows what the Snyder Cut is or if it's going to be any better. And I think when we talked about it before, I think we agreed collectively that if there is a Snyder Cut, and there probably is, it's not one that's complete. It's not something that has like CGI in it. It doesn't have the sound or the post-production done. It's just I guess a post-production cut with several hours that hasn't been narrowed down, right? So that is the assumption we're running off of, but that may not be the truth. I don't know. Maybe there's something else
the other thing was that we didn't even know if it truly existed.
Yeah, that's true. So it definitely exists. It exists in the sense that Snyder said he did a 4-hour cut before he left.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So that's where
it is there, right? So now we know it's there.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
So I guess the big announcement though is that Snyder was doing a screen casting. What do they call those things where people watch together? I don't remember what the hell it's called, but he was doing one of those things. Screening. I don't know. Watch party. Watch party. That's what the hell they call them. He was doing a watch party for, I think, Superman, if I remember right. But in any case, some fans asked him about the Snyder Cut, and he sort of like alluded to it and made some jokes, and then he was finally like, ask Henry Cavill, who was also on the video, if you haven't seen this, you should go watch it. But he asked Henry Cavill, what do you think, And then Henry's like, yeah, you should let him see it. It's sort of like a prearranged thing that they had set up, So that was the moment where they said, okay, we're going to do the Snyder Cut. And then, of course, right afterwards, a million news agencies or entertainment type sites had released this, the Snyder Cut's happening, and it's going to be on HBO Max. So that's all true, of course. The only issue we have is it's not until 2021, and they didn't announce a month. So I think that in itself supports what we agreed to, I think, which is that this is probably a very loosely edited cut, and now they need a whole bunch of time to basically do the post-production. And so that means it could be anywhere from 7 months from now, say the beginning of 2021, to 19 months from now at the end of 2021. We don't know.
Right.
So that's plenty of time to do post-production, of course. But
yeah, especially since nobody's doing anything anyway. Get them all in there.
Right. Yeah. Get made.
All right, so we don't know anything else beyond that, though. So this is a discussion item, I guess. So, I mean, what do you guys think's going to be in it? What do you think they can do to fix it? And what the hell was wrong with the first one that you would correct anyway?
So I read something.
You wanted this to be a short episode.
I'll do this relatively quick. So I read something that there's a scene that's not in the Joss Whedon version that the heroes have to, there's this like giant gap that they have to get across, right? And they're not sure how they're going to do it. And it, I guess, gives you a hint of each of the characters and sort of how they attack a problem, right? And like Wonder Woman just runs and jumps across, like no big deal. Batman sort of sizes it up. Flash runs across, doesn't even think about it. Wonder Woman just aggressively hits at it. Cyborg sort of thinks about it and plots out, you can see him work the angles and all the stuff. And then Batman tests out the relative strength of this side and what he thinks that side's made of, and then attacks it. So it's supposed to be a glimpse into each of their sort of backgrounds and psyches and how they attack different problems and approach things. So it's supposed to give you some more kind of insight to the characters. I don't know.
A little more character depth. Okay. I don't know. In 4 hours, they can get a lot of shit in there.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see it.
Here's the thing, though. What if it's not any better?
Yeah. Well,
what if we've been clamoring for this thing for, I don't know, 4 years, and it turns out it's just not that much better? And are we supposed to now say, so now everyone that didn't like Justice League is going to have to love this because they've been begging for this thing to come out? So they have to say it's good.
They've been
So
saying that this is going to be the thing that saves it.
yeah, so I personally don't doubt it will be better than the theatrical release. I'm sure even if anything they add is not great, people will still appreciate it and be like, yes, that was better. That was much better, right? I think at this point you just built it up so far for yourself that, but there are things in the movie that they can't change that, at least in my opinion, were a failing from the get-go. And
Right.
one of the big ones is the villain. Why the fuck do you pick a B-rate villain for your massive superhero movie? Like, what the why?
Right.
Why would you do that? And I don't think you can fix that in a Snyder Cut. You're not going to have a new villain.
No.
You know?
Yeah, no, you can't.
Well, their problem is Darkseid looks too much like Thanos.
Right.
Yeah. He looks a lot like Thanos.
Yeah, they look alike.
It's like Thanos and the Thor Ragnarok villain had a baby together. That's basically what happened there. But then the movie itself actually borrows a lot of sort of theming and ideas from Avengers.
Right. So, well, plus the other thing that they got going against them, where how much more can a 4-hour cut do when the shit leading up to this was a clusterfuck?
So
there were handfuls of good moments in a bunch of those movies. Like, I liked Man of Steel. We've had this conversation many times. I liked Man of Steel. Had you immediately turned it to drop a sequel where he was the happier, brighter Superman, but they didn't do that. They wanted to go dark because they wanted to kind of steer away from what Marvel was doing, and they shot themselves in the foot.
So I'll say this: there's a couple things they can definitely recover from. Justice League didn't have enough funny in it. Like, Ezra Miller was the only comedy relief, and it was like way too late when they started doing it. With a Snyder Cut, you can definitely fix that problem, right? I will guarantee you they have other footage of him doing a lot more comedy and perhaps some other stuff they could throw back in there. I think that you can save and you can make that part of it better because it needs some lightheartedness to it more than it has, And I know Snyder is generally obsessed with sort of dark and foreboding kind of theming, but I mean, he tried, I guess. He tried with The Flash to have some comic relief. I think he could do more. I think he could save that piece of it, right?
I think so.
The other part is the character development, right? If you don't know these characters, you have no reason to be invested in them. They don't spend any fucking time on it. Like, seriously, like nothing. And you could definitely fix that in a Snyder Cut. You can definitely do more build up and get people attached to the character. So those are two things I would hope for in a 3, 4, whatever it's going to be, hour release. But I'm not sure that you can make it really, truly a great movie.
And most of the movie is, we have to go wake up Superman. Like, that's the whole movie. It's, all right, we're doing a bunch of stuff, putting a team together to try to reincarnate Superman so he can save us.
Right. Which, again, they rushed into. So, I don't know. Like I said, I would be interested to watch it. I don't know when I'm going to dedicate 4 hours to watch something. Because I did watch the first cut, the theatrical cut. I watched it in the theater. Then I did watch the 3-hour director's cut or whatever, where it kind of added a little bit more to like the Superman background or whatever, and did show him why people loved him again, or so it started to do something with it, but it was better. Use that term really loosely, but I don't know. I'll watch it, but it'll probably be over a weekend.
A rumor I'd heard is probably totally untrue, and I don't want to tout it here like it's anything real, but that they might do this in a format where it's multiple parts that they release.
I'd be okay with that.
Like a mini series, you get like 3 different releases, but it's all part of the same movie. I don't know if that's true, but that might work better for a 4-hour long thing. Of course, if you're watching it on streaming, it doesn't actually matter that much, and you can just pause it and come back to it later. So.
All right, let's get on to something more interesting. And
all right, so all right, so Legendary Pictures announced they're going to do a new film called Good, Bad, and the Undead. I'm not sure if that's a play off Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, but it sort of sounds like it.
Of course it is.
But it gets so much funnier than that because this is a story about Van Helsing, and it's set in sort of a Bram Stoker world with a bunch of different monsters and stuff.
Yes, that Van Helsing.
but it's completely different. So Peter Dinklage is going to be Van Helsing in this, the vampire hunter, right? So
yes, that Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, if you don't know who he is, look him up, I guess, because it's really funny. And then Jason Momoa is going to be a vampire who has sort of like shed his killing ways, and he's not going to do that anymore. But what makes this really hilarious is that the two of them agree to form a partnership. And they end up going around from town to town scamming the townspeople, where Momoa pretends to be a bad vampire that's going to kill people. Dinklage, pretends to vanquish him, and then they get paid their money and they go on their way. But at some point during this scam, Momoa's vampire character gets sort of a bounty put on his head, and then all the monsters in the world, if you will, decide to come after them. So
that could be pretty cool.
That's where it starts, I guess, or that's where the movie will take off.
But you know what? We've already seen this though. Dragonheart.
Well, yeah, kind of.
Remember, right?
Yeah, well, the similar concept.
Yeah, he's a dragon slayer. He goes after Sean Connery. And Sean Connery pretends to die every 5. Well, sorry, listen, ladies and gentlemen, Sean Connery is a dragon.
I think they've got something with this because
I think so.
They got 2 Game of Thrones stars who actually on screen had virtually zero interaction for the most part. I mean, they have very little interaction, right? In Game of Thrones,
any? I don't think they had any interaction.
I would like to think they did. Maybe they didn't.
No, I don't think they did because by the time, spoiler alert for Game of Thrones, I guess, by the time Dinklage's character gets anywhere near Khaleesi, Momoa's character, Drago, Drago. He's already dead.
Drago, yep.
Yeah.
El Drogo, yeah.
He dies by season 1.
Yeah, I think you're right. So they didn't have any answers. But they're both part of a major franchise, so you can bank on that. Now, Peter Dinklage as Van Helsing, I don't know who the fuck came up with that idea, but that's hilarious.
Well, I'll watch Peter Dinklage or Jason Momoa in anything. I know my wife will watch Jason Momoa in anything. So we'll definitely go watch. Well, we'll definitely watch this wherever it turns up. But Peter Dinklage is an amazing actor, and Momoa is a great actor too. Yeah,
Dinklage is funny too, and Momoa has sort of a subtle funniness to him, just the way he does stuff.
He does, yeah. He's got a real subtle funniness to him. He's got a real
two of them together could be really great.
He's got a charisma. Like he just puts out like you want to hang out and have a drink with him. He's just like laid back, whatever. Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Next topic is one that Paul brought up on our chat. Kevin Mayer, who was the executive that was in charge of Disney Plus. He was responsible for the build-up and the launch of all that. He just basically suddenly left Disney. He resigned, and he went to work at TikTok. And if you don't know what TikTok is, well, I guess you don't have little kids. But
don't know what rock you're living under.
But yeah, so he's going to be he's now going to be the CEO of TikTok, and he'll also be the COO, the Chief Operating Officer of ByteDance, which is the parent company that owns TikTok. The speculation here is that he assumed, or maybe he thought, or he was hoping that he was going to be the one that would replace Bob Iger as Disney CEO, and then they picked Bob Chapek instead. God damn.
Oh, so he's mad and he's leaving.
So he's mad about it. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's what really happened. That's just speculation that's running around. If they were going to pick anybody, I mean, if you're going to pick somebody that was been successful in Disney, I mean, you can't argue that Disney Plus was successful. At this point, they have 54.5 million subscribers. They exceeded Amazon Video and every other platform except Netflix inside of what? How long has it been?
About a year. Right?
Yeah, I don't think it's been a year yet.
No, it's not even been a year.
No.
That was probably November, right? November of last year?
Yeah, I'm gonna look. It was November 12th.
Yeah.
So 6 months.
when Heather got back from her surgery.
So in 6 months, they're the second largest streaming service in existence. So definitely the guy had success in his role. Whatever he may have done to push that forward, I don't know. But I could understand why he would think he would be picked for the successor to Iger.
Sure. So I get that being CEO of a company like this and COO of the parent company, he's probably a pay raise. But is it if you're in the streaming service world, which puts you sort of makes you essentially a movie studio head almost, this feels like a weird move, right? Because you could go from Disney streaming to running a network or you could end up running, Disney owns ABC, you end up running ABC or a movie studio, if there are such things anymore, or something else sort of in Hollywood, as opposed to going to, something, I don't know, because I'm not
a different company.
I'm not 12, but TikTok feels like it's going to be a fad.
So let me give you a little background that I did not have until you brought him up, and then I had to go research him. Okay. So he started his executive career with the Walt Disney Company. He did strategy and business development for them like back in the 90s, right? But he didn't stay there. His next job was actually the CEO of Playboy.com, so the online, and that was in 2000, early 2000s. I think it was 2000 actually. So this was early when Playboy first launched from magazine to digital kind of thing, right? And he headed that up for that sort of launch. And then he became the CEO of Clear Channel, which, if you guys know, Clear Channel owns a bunch of radio stations, a bunch of advertising platforms. Yeah. Right. And so he stayed there for, I think, a little over a year, something like that. And then he became a private consultant, consulting on sort of media and entertainment stuff. Right. And then he went back to Walt Disney long later. This was 2005, I think it was. He went back to Disney. So he's had a career that isn't just Disney and isn't just about streaming. Right. It's always been about online presence and media and entertainment in the online world for the most part. So I understand why he personally would be willing to make that change.
That makes sense.
But I totally agree with you, though. It seems weird at first glance. You look at that like, wait a minute, what? Yeah. You had a massively successful Disney Plus launch and you left for TikTok?
Right. Yeah.
But I think after looking at his career, I can say to myself, okay, I get it. He wants to be like a game changer in the digital world, and whatever company he does it with, probably not that important. The last thing I wanted to cover in the news was HBO Max has released the list of all the movies they're going to have on launch day, which, if you aren't aware, is May 27th. It's about 6 days from our recording here. I have listed movies before. We've talked about a few titles here and there. They've released smaller lists, but I'm just going to give a very quick recap of some of the more interesting titles, at least to me, and hopefully to anybody else that's listening for this. So for nostalgia, we've got all the Die Hard movies, which I'm sure we will talk about in a later episode today. All the Lethal Weapon movies, which we will probably talk about in a later episode today. The entire Police Academy franchise, which there are apparently 6 movies, and I didn't even realize that until I looked at the list. Braveheart, great one. On the horror side, they're going to have It Chapter 2, which is good. If you haven't seen that yet, you might as well watch it for free on Max if you have the Max service. They're going to have the entire Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, the entire Alien franchise, and the entire Jaws franchise, which I'm sure we will all talk about those later too. As far as geeky titles, John, you'll appreciate this. They've got, at least that I saw, 8 different Godzilla movies on there.
I'm down for that.
They do have Van Helsing, since we talked about Van Helsing a little bit earlier. They have almost every single Batman title that has ever been animated or live action.
Wow.
Almost all the Superman titles since 1978's first Superman release. Constantine, Justice League, Shazam, Joker, Suicide Squad, Supergirl, and a whole bunch of others. So when we were talking about, I don't know, several Geekly Weeklies ago about DC Universe and that streaming platform and what's going to happen, I'm looking at this full list now, like, damn, they have every like post 1970 superhero movie on their shit. Like, what is DCEU doing? It's just I guess it's just the old stuff, right? They don't have the 60s Batman on here, so I guess DCU gets that. Do they even have that on there, Paul?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I guess they get to hold on to
they
that. And then I guess the animated series, because only the animated films are going to be on HBO as far as it looks like, not the series. But, you know, we talked about this before. They have like 4 different now exclusive DCU series coming out on HBO. Like, I feel like DCU is going to disappear at some point soon.
I agree.
And it may be May 28th. One other thing I thought would be worth mentioning is that I don't know if HBO just picked up on the trend or this is dumb luck, but they have so many samurai movies, and it's not just samurai movies that I want to point out here. It's the specific ones that they picked up to add to their movie collection, which include Seven Samurai, Yojimbo, Rashomon, The Hidden Fortress, and all the Lone Wolf and Cub films except one. So all of those Akira Kurosawa movies that influenced the original Star Wars, and then the one set that isn't Akira Kurosawa but appears to have influenced The Mandalorian, Lone Wolf and Cub, are all on there, and you can watch all of them. So, I mean, essentially you have the entire inspiration for the Star Wars franchise, new or old, in the movies here. And these movies range from like early 50s to I think early 70s or so. So they're old. But if you want to really get an idea about sort of what Lucas was thinking when he made this and why these things influenced him, you might as well go watch them.
Yep.
And Lone Wolf and Cub, I don't know if you guys have watched any of them, but the special effects are hilarious with people getting their legs chopped off and stuff. I mean, it is like Monty Python quality, my arms chopped off kind of stuff. Without the joking, but you know what I mean? Just like he slices and then it's like, oh, you're looking at a pair of legs on the ground with some blood squirting out. It's funny. But anyway, worth watching to get an idea, you know, specifically out of those. Seven Samurai was the influence for I think it was the 4th episode of The Mandalorian. Sanctuary is what it was called.
Yep.
So Seven Samurai story was directly adapted for that. Hidden Fortress was
it's also for the Magnificent Seven.
Yes.
Both the early one from the 60s, I think, with Yul Brynner and others, and then the remake.
Yep, exactly. And then The Hidden Fortress, of course, was the film that sort of was adapted by Lucas in a very indirect way to make the original Star Wars trilogy.
Yep.
That was the story that influenced it more than anything, the princess and the whole thing. Just watch it and you'll understand.
Ready to go.
So that's in 6 days, which by the time you hear this will probably just be a day or two away, but May 27th. All right, and then last but not least this week we have trailers. Yeah, I went through about 15 trailers in the last 2 weeks since we didn't meet last week to do one. There was not shit. I mean, it was really depressing. I struggled for one of these. Like, should I even put this on here? But all right, so the first one we had was Unhinged. That is, according to the trailer, and this was just released, going to be in theaters on July 1st. So 30, 40 days from now, I guess it is. 40 days from now, it's going to be in theaters.
Whether theaters are open or not?
That's what they're saying. You know, in fact, a preview, if you watch it at the very end,
it says, a Blu-ray on the front porch.
Yeah. Right. If you watch the preview at the very end, it says exclusively in theaters. Like, fuck you, we're not doing streaming. But, all right, so Unhinged is, so this is based on a screenplay that was written by Carl Ellsworth, who did Last House on the Left, which if you saw, that's kind of like a weird, disturbing horror thriller, psychological thriller is probably the better way to say it. But this has Russell Crowe in it, and they promote the fact that he's like Academy Award winner and stuff, and then you watch the trailer and you're like, wait a minute, this whole movie is about a guy with road rage.
Yeah.
Trying to murder some people because he's having a bad day. It feels really odd to me. And then I was looking at who's making this, and the studio that's making this has only been in existence for less than 2 years. So I'm really scratching my head as to how the hell this happened.
Yeah, but Russell Crowe's kind of struggling lately.
You think so? Is that what it is?
Did you watch the trailer?
Oh, yeah, I watched the trailer, definitely, yeah. I was kind of wondering if they told him to put on...
This meat shortage is not hurting him at all.
Yeah, I was wondering if they told him to put on 50 pounds for this role or something, because, I mean, he definitely has fat face, like...
Yeah.
No. I mean, it's obvious, but...
I mean, I ain't saying nothing because, like, I like him in a lot of stuff, but he looks pretty good in this movie as far as, like, you know, the acting part of it. But I don't remember a time seeing him in, like, the antagonist role.
Not really. I mean,
not like this.
Not like this, yeah. And he's a great actor, and he has a lot of dynamic range. We've seen him in everything from Gladiator to Beautiful Mind. The guy is fucking brilliant, but wow, am I shocked at this. I mean, he's like a redneck with road rage. This is what this is.
Yeah. I thought this was a sort of a remake of Falling Down, right, with Michael Douglas.
Yeah, it does feel that way a little bit, yeah.
He kind of loses it, and then you see the interaction with the woman and her kid, and then the road rage takes over, and
yeah.
Now, of course, anyone who's ever driven around Florida, I get it. This movie might be based in Florida. You better be careful.
Yeah. I mean, even the way he delivers some of the stuff in the trailer, though, where he's like, you're going to learn what a bad day's like, and you're going to learn to say sorry. Like, really? He's just that angry that he's going to fucking tear somebody's door down and smash them with a hammer, and because they honked at him? Because they honked at him?
She didn't honk at him, though. She cut his ass off.
Oh, whatever. Whatever. I just... I understand road rage, but damn.
There's a lot of sort of off ramps of this to bar the road rage.
Yeah.
Thing, but like, all right, cool down. Like, you don't have to chase her with a ball peen hammer. And
yeah, exactly.
You know,
well, and it's even worse than that, right? Like finding her boyfriend or her husband or whatever that guy was, and having her call him, and then smashing his head on the table. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, man.
People are psychotic. But I like him enough to give it a shot. I mean, definitely.
Yeah, I wouldn't even watch this if it wasn't him in that truck. Yeah, I wouldn't even see it, but I'll give it a shot.
Definitely be a streaming thing. Not that I have a choice, but if it were, buy it, rent it, throw it out, I'd rent it.
Yeah.
All right. What else we got?
The only other trailer I could find that I thought looked like it was worth a shit is called The Old Guard. And this is based on a comic book that I have never actually read. So I had to look it up after I saw the trailer, and it looks pretty decent, actually. So it is a superhero-esque film, and I say that because it's not like they have some sort of crazy superpowers and they're flying or anything. They're sort of like special forces mercenary types. But what they do have is that they're immortal. They can't be killed. So there's this group of them led by a woman named Andy, who's played by Charlize Theron. And she is leading this squad of mercs, like I said, who are basically saving the world in the background. And I think there's even a line in the trailer about, are you the good guys or the bad guys? I'm like, it depends on what century we're in. Like they've been doing this for so long. Sometimes they're bad guys, sometimes they're good guys, but they're always sort of on the same track. It looks really interesting to me. What do you guys think?
I thought it looked really cool. I was wondering what they were going for in the very beginning of it, but I guess spoiler alert. Go watch the trailer and come back and listen to this. But when they first shoot her, when they first shoot everybody, and then you see her eye kind of come back into focus, I was like, "Oh shit, okay." So I'm like, she's like kind of like undead. I thought maybe she's like a vampire or something, but
I did
too. So it's something else, but it's cool. It looks good.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't seen the comics, so I only know what I've read about it. But she and the whole team of guys are immortal, and apparently they recruit people into it, and somehow they pass the immortality onto them, and that's hinted at in the trailer. She says something to the new one that they brought onto the team. Yeah, like, oh, so you're starting to heal fast already or something. She says something to her like that, and so I don't know. It looks cool to me. I'd be happy seeing Charlize Theron in a non-crazy woman role because she always plays fucking crazy bitches, and I like her, but I don't like her when I see her in those roles.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm interested in it. I want to see it. So that'd be cool. So a month and a half. All right. So that's it for this Geekly Weekly for 5/21. Hit us up at whatifgeeks.com. Let us know what you guys think in the comments down below. Tell us what else you're looking forward to. If we've missed anything, like, subscribe down below. And like I said, whatifgeeks.com, whatifgeeks@gmail.com, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that happy shit. Come in and join our discussions. All right, we'll catch you guys next week. Good night, Tony.
Good night, Brittany Simmons.
Good night, road raging redneck Russell Crowe in a giant pickup.
Holy shit. You're going to learn to say sorry.